what's up guys, it's Lucas and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, scroll down, click the subscribe button, really helps me out. Also, when we get to 10,000 viewers, which we are at about 9,600 at the time of recording this, I'm giving away a set of Planet Tone 59 special pickups, so be sure to subscribe. I'll leave a link in the description on the video on how to win those. So the folks in Orange Amps were nice enough to send me a couple of pedals to demo for you guys, and today we are checking out the Orange Amps Getaway driver. So first off, let me just say that this thing is built spectacularly well. I mean, it is just rock solid, and the paint job that's on the top of it is super cool, very vibey. It's real easy to use. It's got 3 controls for volume, bite, which is kind of like a treble presence control, and then gain. It's got 2 outputs. One is a standard output that you would run to the amplifier if you would, just kind of use it like a normal pedal. And then there's one beneath that is a cab simulated output. And the cab simulated output also stays on even if you are not using the pedal. So if you have it plugged into that and you're not using the pedal, you're still getting like a simulated cab sound. So you could use this at the end of a pedal board and run it direct into an interface or into the front of house or something like that and use it that way. So let's check out kind of just some really low gain stuff to start here. So I'm going to turn the drive all the way down. We've got the level at halfway and the bite at halfway. So this is without it. All right, if we turn the pedal on, so you can hear in this setting, it's not adding much, just a little bit. So if I crank up the volume, what you're gonna get is some kind of like pushing into the front overdrive. And again, that's from this. And then adding the orange in. So that's a really nice way to get like a little bit of hair, a little bit of texture, so if you want to play some bluesier stuff, And you can hear it's still very touch responsive, very dynamic. So it responds very much the way an amplifier would. It doesn't feel like you're playing through a pedal. It feels like you just added another stage of like drive kind of character to your amp. So in my case, I'm thinking maybe I want a little bit more top end. So what we can do is kind of like just roll the bite in some and then try that. That's already a really, really good usable sound, and it's very, like I said, very natural, very organic. It's a great sound. So if you want to really push the front of the amp, you can just go ahead and crank that volume all the way up, and of course you can probably hear a little noise in the background. As you start pushing the front of an amplifier harder, it's going to get a little bit of noise. That's pretty normal. So once again, here is the bridge pickup without it on that clean sound. And now if I kick in the orange pedal, really driving the front of the amp hard, I really like that because that almost kind of puts me into like Ritchie Blackmore, Deep Purple territory. In fact, let's go ahead and just crank the bite up too. So we have the gain is at 0 and the volume and the bite are both all the way up. So that's a great kind of, not transparent overdrive, but it's a very flavorful overdrive. Like it has that kind of orange, little bit of taste that comes with it. It makes it sound really nice and vibey, which I really, really like, because you're going from nothing to this. So that's a great sound. So let's back the volume back down and back the bite back down to about halfway so that we've got kind of this thing going on again. Yes, it's about unity volume. And let's bring in the gain control. So now we're going to get some of that orange kind of like, again, it has a British flavor, but it's not super top-end presency, and it's got a lot more low-mid kind of woof character to it. Really just thickens up the sound in a really nice way, especially if you're using something that has single coil or thinner, brighter sounding pickups. This will go a long way to really just thickening, fattening everything up. So I'm gonna play and then we'll roll the gain in. So you could absolutely use this as your amp drive sound. You could have a clean amp that you really like the sound of, and then kick this on and get like a very cool kind of orange flavored drive sound. So it's not just an overdrive pedal, it works fantastic as a distortion pedal as well. So let's go ahead and just kind of explore the gain control here. Okay, so I've got my Greco Les Paul copy here, and this has got Planet Tone pickups in it. It's a full throttle in the bridge and a 78 Pasadena in the neck. And I have this kind of dialed into like starting to break up kind of British Marshall-y type sound. So that sounds like this. Alright, so that's just a good kind of, a little bit of hair on it, a little bit of distortion. So now let's use the Getaway driver in more of an overdrive type fashion. So once again, I'm going to turn the gain all the way down. We've got the volume at about halfway and the bite is about halfway as well. So we'll kick it on. So let's try it with the volume and the bite all the way up and the gain all the way down. Let's see what that sounds like. So this is just the guitar into the amp sound. And then we kick in the Getaway driver. let's try maybe turning the volume back and bringing in a little bit of the gain. So when you really start pushing the front end like that, that really kind of takes you into that sort of old 60s kind of orange amp, but just driven to like the point of exploding. And it has a very cool kind of gnarly, almost fuzzy sound, but not quite fuzz, particularly with higher output pickups like this bridge pickup. So let's hop over to like what I would call kind of a lead sound. I'm gonna put on some delay, and then I'm gonna use this to boost it over the top into like kind of a lead mode. And then if we kick on the Getaway driver to boost it into lead mode. Okay, so there you go. There's the Orange Amps Getaway driver. It's a very cool kind of organic amp sounding distortion box. It works both as an overdrive and as a standalone distortion, or somewhere in between. And depending on how you have your amp set and what kind of pickups you have, you can kind of get into almost fuzz territory with it if you want to. But the main thing I think that, and I hope it carries across on YouTube, is that there is an inherent kind of low, mid, and bottom thing in Orange amps that some of the other kind of British amps don't really do. And this really, really represents that in a nice way. It really shows you that tonal character. So if you have, you know, an amp that's a little bit lacking in the distortion side of things, it's not maybe got quite the fullness in the bottom that you want, this is a really good way to kind of like pump up that section in particular, and you can kind of play around with the tone controls and get it to where you like. But I think it's a great sounding overdrive and distortion. So anyway, once again, thanks to the guys at Orange for sending this to me to demo for you guys, and until next time, I will catch you later.